So you're a first timer to Bali, a Bali virgin. I tell you what, sit back, relax, because I'm going to try and make what your experience is going to be like as simple as I possibly can. There's a million places to start in Bali, but normally from your airport to the hotel, that's the easy part. The traffic is a bit diabolical, but you get to look at lots of buildings, lots and lots of scooters, and for Australians, the traffic drives on the correct side of the road for what we're used to. But that's about where the similarity stops. So I'm going to take you for a bit of a cruise around Bali, around some of my favourite haunts, and we're going to stay around the beach areas to start with, and then maybe we'll expand this out to going out to some of the more exciting places, a bit of a nightlife. So welcome aboard, strap on, put your helmet on, and follow me. Okay, just to cover off some of the basics, getting around in Bali. Generally, depending on where you're staying, most things are in walking distance. So luckily, you don't have to do too much. And the standard footwear, because of the hot temperature, is thongs or flip-flops or jandals, whatever you want to call them. Lots of shops, lots of shopping, plenty of restaurants, about 6 million pubs, and you can expect the prices to be pretty cheap. In Bali, you can buy a t-shirt for $5, and they're not bad quality. You get a really good one for about $10. A beer's going to cost you between $2 and $3 generally, and there's a million places to have them. And they call a restaurant or a cafe a warung, and generally that means they'll serve a hamburger, a bit of pizza, and also some local food. Things like fried rice, which over here is called nasi goreng. If you like fried noodles, it's mee goreng. And you'll see 100 places like this, bike for rent. Now, my absolute gold-clad advice is, if it's your first time to Bali, you do not want to think about renting a scooter or a bike, because the driving rules and the regulations and the protocol here in Bali are very, very different to what you're used to in Australia. We'll cover off quickly legally. So if you've got a license, a motorcycle license in Australia, then you can get an international license, come over here and legally rent a scooter. If you don't have an international license, there's a good chance that you might have some problems renting a scooter. And there's a really good chance that your insurance, if anything does go wrong, won't cover you or the bike or your emergency evacuation home. And that's where GoFundMe comes in handy. If you don't want to have to plead to people around the world to help you get home because you forgot insurance, or your insurance wasn't covered because you're either drinking or you're on a scooter, then don't rent a scooter. Honestly, the amount of people here have problems here because they rent scooters without licenses and without insurance, it's just massive. So I am currently in Kuta. There's a heap of hotels along the Kuta strip, and we're about a block away from the beach. So this is the main party area of Kuta Legian, and there's hotels here, and the average price you'll probably pay around here is between $50 and $150 a night. They're nearly all got swimming pools, they're close to nightlife, and lots of fun. Let me just squeeze through here. So yeah, you can get more expensive places. They tend to be a little bit further away or right on the beach. And you can get cheaper places. You can get places from $25 a night, and they're not that bad, but depending on how discerning you are. If you want somewhere to hang your hat, then they're not that bad at all. But if you want somewhere that's a bit flash, then for about $100 a night, you'll get something really, really nice. I'm coming up to the Bali Memorial, and you may remember back 20 odd years ago, there was a bomb was detonated. There's a couple of bombs actually detonated in the main street of Bali, and the memorial to the hundreds of people who lost their lives including quite a number of Australians, is just up here on the left-hand side. So if you sort of take this as the downtown, sort of the heart of Bali, on one side of the memorial you've got all these eateries and restaurants and t-shirt shops and souvenir places, and on the other side you've got the big nightclubs and some of the multi-story. Here's a couple of big ones here. They really fire up at night time. There's a big, what do you call it, bungee ball where they reverse bungee you. Here's the memorial here. So right in the middle of Kuta. And that's to remember and commemorate the people whose lives were lost. Always a place to have a beer and always something to do. Now these pubs here, Sky Garden, the Engine Room, there's a reggae bar down the corridor here. You've got Paddy's and you've got Bounties right here. These places go off all night, and they're lots of fun. There's discos, there's karaoke bars, there's espresso bar just behind me. Honestly, there are so many places that you can go and have a good time on this one street. It's been the highlight of most people that have been coming to Bali started coming to this place when the sewers were all open, when it was stunk, when it was dirt roads, and when there was only a half a dozen shops. Now Kuta has sort of lost a lot of favour for the bigger flasher, sort of more modern nightclubs, the more American style sort of New York nightclubby stuff. But what I love about this place is it's not far from the beach, and there's all sorts of entertainment, all sorts of stores, all sorts of shopping. And I tell you what, if you ever wanted to think about getting a tattoo, the main street of Kuta has probably got, I don't know, 30, 40 tattoo shops on it, and all the other streets have got tattoo shops as well. So it can be a little bit hard to work out where you should go. I'm going to take you down towards the beach and we'll see what we can find down there. Lots more shops along the way, and a few more hotels. Now right now it's a little bit quiet. The season doesn't start for another few weeks over here, and it goes from basically May right through till about October, and then it starts to slow down a little bit around about November, December, when the wet season starts. Now in the summer in Australia, it can be what they call it over here the wet season, which generally means it's nice and sunny every day, but for about an hour a day, usually at night time, but not always, it's going to rain absolutely buckets of rain. So it can be a little bit inconvenient, but not generally enough that it's going to spoil your holiday. And rarely does it rain more than 2 days in a row. Up and down Kuta, you've got this beautiful boardwalk, and it goes from Kuta, from where all the hotels are, all the way along this strip down here, and it's got tree line. It's quite lovely. It goes all the way down there, probably a good couple of kilometres down to the suburb of Seminyak. And at night time, this is where the sunset beach is. So you can sit down here, thousands of people up there with their selfie cameras out taking photos. There's surf lessons had all up and down the beach here. And it's a lovely central meeting location. Now, the average price of a beer here is about $3, and you can sit down on one of these chairs and tables by the water's edge with your feet in the sand, have a cold beer, go for a swim, and enjoy yourself. There are great amenities. There's also changing rooms and proper toilets these days. So it's quite civilised, unlike what it was a number of years ago. There's also the beachfront strip. There's a mall not far down from Kuta Beach, and Hard Rock Cafe. So if you come here to sit on a beach, get a tan, I tell you, you're not going to be disappointed any time of year, because the water is lovely, it's nice and warm, Generally the water's pretty clean, except for when the prevailing winds wash all the plastic on shore. They get onto it pretty quickly these days, but it can be a little bit of a problem up here in Southeast Asia with winds and plastics in the water. Generally the water's pretty clean though, and you'll have a ball. Almost all the hotels got swimming pools, so if you don't want to venture into unknown territory, you can always go to your own hotel, and you won't be too far from anywhere. So whether you're here or there, the cost of your hotel, I think, should be determined by how far you want to walk and how you're going to get around. Now, a taxi over here is pretty cheap, and they have a thing called a Gojek or a Grab. It's like an Uber. They have bikes, cars, they have meal deliveries, so like Uber Eats, and it's called Grab or Gojek, and you can download those apps so that you can call a cab at about a quarter of the price to what you're going to get one for elsewhere. So that's certainly a nice, easy way to save a bit of money as you're coming over, is to download the Grab app and download the Gojek app. The other one I always recommend is the WhatsApp. Now, if you haven't got WhatsApp at home, it uses your normal phone number, so you can load that on your own SIM card before you come, and still keep in touch and make phone calls and send messages and share photos and stuff like that as well. So you've got the fancy places to stay, and you've got the nice and cheap places to stay. And if you're not spending a lot of time in your bedroom and it's just a place to come and crash, then getting a real fancy place to stay might be a bit of a waste of money. But if you want the creature comforts, what you'll get down here for a couple of $100 a night will blow your mind. In fact, it's probably about the same as what you get up in somewhere like Port Douglas or somewhere in North Queensland for, you know, maybe $500-600 a night or more. All these little beach umbrellas on the side over the wall there are little restaurants or little eateries. So you can buy some 2-minute noodles there, you can buy cold beers, you can buy a glass of water, you can buy a pineapple or a coconut. And there's a great little mall here if you want to do a bit of shopping for some brand name stuff. But Bali's very famous for knockoffs, and some of those knockoffs are good quality and some of them are not. So if you're hunting for knockoff Gucci bags or whatever, then it's buyer beware. And I think there's some limits the government will let as to how many you can bring into the country. So yeah, you do have some nice shopping here, and the prices are still pretty reasonable. It's within Kui, it's within a couple of minutes. Look, give you an idea, some of these Uber motorbike jobs, the Grabs and the Gojeks, it might only cost you $2 to go from your hotel to the local beach or to the local mall. To get around on the bikes or even on the cars, it's very, very reasonable price. So don't be scared. There's a million of them around, and if you don't know where to find one, I promise if you go to your concierge at the hotel and say, can you call me a Gojek, they'll have one over to you in a few minutes. Just rent a car with a driver from on average about $60 a day, depending on how far you want to go and how long your day is. So say $60 or $80 a day, and you can have a car take you almost anywhere in Bali and back. And the driver can be at your beck and call. He can be the tour guide. He can take you in and out of different locations, or you can just go and explore it yourself and get him to take you there and get you through the traffic. You will save yourself hours getting a driver than you will trying to negotiate and navigate Bali traffic, because trust me, you do not want to be driving over here with 600 motorbikes in adjoining lanes and no street signs, or almost no street signs to tell you where you're supposed to be. So thanks guys for following along with me. This is just a bit of an intro to Bali and where you can go and what you can see. I'm going to do some of the other really popular suburbs and give you a bit of a heads up on what to find there. But today we had a bit of a look around Kuta. We went down towards Legian and up towards Seminyak Beach. Give you a bit of a look and yeah, give you a bit of a talk on the way. Hope you enjoyed today. Hey, listen, if you are coming over, the thing I would strongly suggest is hit that subscribe button, because we've got 400 or more videos all about Bali, all about where to go, what to do, how to get over there safely and look after yourself, and how to get home safely too. And I hope you enjoy it. So if you're coming over, look me up, give us a yell on Facebook and say, "G'day Muzzer, how are you?" And maybe we'll catch up for a beer. Catch you guys, bye.